Yellow, 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 yellow. Long time no see, homies. Long time no see. That's what it is. So here we are. Today, Friday, and here we're going to talk about the boys for a minute. But I just thought to start off. Thank goodness, right? Had a crazy 2 weeks, all right? But it's better than it was last year, I tell you. Almost a year ago, you know, craziness ensued, right? But here we are, a year later. Everything's cool with the kiddos. And even though I've been like super, super stressed, right? It's amazing for me to know how far I've come on the other end of that and where we are now. But let's talk about the boys. Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. I don't know. So, Herogasm, right? Herogasm. It happened, guys. It finally happened. And, and going into this one, I was a lot more prepared this time around than I was in the first episode, guys. I don't like nasty things. I was raised in this, very strict home growing up, and probably, adopted a lot of my mama's beliefs there. So, with that, we did see Herogasm. Herogasm was absolutely phenomenal to me. Outside of some things that I closed my eyes to, didn't look at. Yes, Tony. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying right now. I covered my eyes completely, right? It was traumatic, to say the least, for me. I was like, what is happening, Captain? But I knew, at least this time, I knew it was going to happen, right? Oh, man, I tell you. I really enjoyed the episode. I'm going to try to, I don't know. Okay, we'll go ahead and go through the spoilers and a recap of the episode and discuss it. So if you've not seen it, then obviously don't watch this. So we know that the episode, here we go, it opens up. And the events from the previous episode, now there is this deal moving forward with Soldier Boy, Huey, and Butcher. They've all now teamed up to take down Homelander, and Butcher and Huey have now joined forces with Soldier Boy and said, if you help us out here, we'll help you out, right? And so that's where we are in the opening episode. We kind of see Soldier Boy saying, what do I need you for? I can find them on my own. I can, destroy them, essentially. I can kill them without you. And then Huey brings up the point, do you know what a GPS is? Do you know what Bluetooth is? Do you know what any of these modern technology things are? Because Soldier Boy has been in a state of, sleep for 40 years at this point, roughly, 40 years. So he has no concept of what a cell phone is, and what this new world looks like. And Huey's pointing this out to him, after they bring him his chicken and it looked like a chicken fry, I think, and a burger. And he's like, where's my sauce? And Huey's like, they don't make that sauce anymore. So we get that moment, that's evidence, and him also not understanding what this terminology is, right? So, what up, bro? What up? So we get this terminology. He doesn't understand what's happening. They decide, boom, we got to work together. He then goes and tells them, well, the next target that he's looking to find are the twins. And they kind of have this Wonder Twins, they have to hold hands and their powers, activate, which is pretty hilarious if you ask me. So we see this moment where the powers are flashbacks of them, activating their powers. Uh, and then, on the Homelander front, he's very uneasy. He's went on the news and it's very reminiscent of like the Trump thing where he's like, everything's safe, and not getting too political, like with the Trump side of it. He was like mocking the things that he said during with COVID about trying to get things back to normal. And here with Homelander, it's about these supervillains. Everybody's safe to go out, right? He's on this news program with, Starlight. They're on the program, and also with, Newman is off there. Senator Newman, she's there. All three of them, they are on this set, and the host asks, Homelander, his point of view. He says everyone's safe. And then the host then pushes back on that a bit, doesn't she? And she basically asked the same question to Senator Newman, and then her response is, we are doing all we can, and Homelander immediately attacks his host, right, and says, the fake media, blah blah blah, you're trying to paint a narrative. I told you that everyone is safe. So we are starting to see even more as him come unglued in the public eye. But we also know prior to this that his numbers, went up because he was this no nonsense, giving, speaking it how it is kind of thing. And Starlight also has this, big, jump in the polls too. So that together, them together, they are the it couple. They are the superhero couple in charge. And so we see how things start to evolve, and again, Soldier Boy and Huey and Butcher all decide that they're going to go after the twins, and once they also take the Compound V, the 24 hours, and you can see that they're becoming more dependent, and it's like a drug. They go through withdrawals. They have, moments of irritability, and it really kind of changes Huey, and you can really see that. And we also see Mother's Milk, who feels very vengeful and wants to go after Butcher and take him down for what happened, right? And he also feels that there's a bit of hypocrisy also on Butcher's side, right? Butcher is so gung-ho to get his revenge on Homelander. And you feel Mother's Milk saying, what about my revenge? And, how is this fair? He has that moment later with Homelander. He asks him, how do you get your revenge on Homelander, but I don't get to get Soldier Boy? And that's a good question. And then you have these great moments in the car with Starlight and Mother's Milk, the two of them, going back and forth, and and we get that full picture of what happened to Mother's Milk's family. He had been, woke up, saw Soldier Boy outside the window. From there, he basically feels extremely guilty because he wakes up his grandfather. His grandfather is also, looking out the window. He sees this. And then from there, Soldier Boy drove his car through Mother's Milk's home, right? And Mother's Milk feels guilty for that because he woke his grandfather up. He says, I put him in that spot, right? I put him in that spot. And how do we get that information? Starlight notices that he has, the OCD, his 1, 2, 3s, and she asks him, has it always been there? And then that's how he gets into that story, and he explains that, if I didn't get up in the middle of the night and check the burners 3 times, Soldier Boy would come back, right? And I still getting up in the middle of the night, checking the burners 3 times, because if I don't, Soldier Boy is going to come back and kill my family. And so you have, it's just amazing to see that, and to see, this trauma and what he's truly fighting for. And him and Butcher are very much the same. They both are fighting for revenge, both for different against 2 different heroes. Mother's Milk thought that his was dead and gone, and then to his surprise, he finds out, obviously in this season, that that's not the case, right? And so And Butcher, you see him. We've known, for quite some time why he's after Homelander for raping his wife. And then led to the pregnancy. So you really see that both of these guys are seeking that revenge. Just one still cares about the people on his team, has a little bit more integrity about him, you normally when going about these things. And Butcher doesn't have that. Butcher sees one thing, and that's taking Homelander down at all costs, right? And we see Frenchie and Kiko, she is in the hospital, has no powers. She is, concerned that Frenchie doesn't want to talk to her because possibly because, she kissed him in the last episode. We got to hear her speak. Once she realized that she didn't have these powers, she felt free. She felt like that she was no longer this monster, or that had been relieved from her. But once she's kidnapped, and she fights even without powers, right? She's a complete and utter badass, right? She's a complete and utter badass. And, after this gruesome fight, she says, it wasn't the V. This was always in me, right? And she has a really great story as well this season. And Frenchie, lets her know, you're not a monster. So I wonder if she's going to take some Compound V again and get those powers back. But I'm telling you, she is a freaking elite fighter and absolutely a badass without them, right? So that was really cool to see. Hi, Austin. Hi, Nate. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just kind of going over the boys and, the things that happened. So then when we see Soldier Boy, Huey, and Butcher, they all have the plan. The three of them are going to go to the twins' home, as well as Mother's Milk is also, and Starlight are on their way. We also see A-Train is on his way there. So all of them are, get to go there, except for Frenchie. And we hear, Frenchie would be so bummed, because Frenchie is, preoccupied. He's being held captive, at this moment. So for him, he doesn't get to see Herogasm. We see a lot of nasty, nasty stuff. I did do a lot of, eye covering and things like that. But, and this gruesome moment, Mother's Milk is like, did you touch me? And then he gets that explosion on his body. He goes to the bathroom. Austin says this show is always amazing, but this last episode was maybe one of the best of the whole series. Such a good storytelling. Yeah, Austin, I agree. I think The Boys is the best superhero show out there. I absolutely enjoyed it. And then you see all of these different people converging. In Starlight and Mother's Milk, also, not only are they trying to stop Soldier Boy and Homelander, and they want to put it into this, but they're going about it very differently, right? Then we see, Butcher and Huey and Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy is out for revenge to kill all of his teammates, right? Because they're the ones that turned him over to the Russians. We also have a great moment early on where Homelander is, talking to Black Noir, and he's like, I'm so glad to have you on this with me, buddy. And as soon as his Homelander walks off, you see Black Noir make that beeline turn quickly into the opposite direction, and he gets on that elevator and he cuts out his chip because he knows that Soldier Boy is coming for him, and he is trying to save his life, because apparently we find out in this episode he was the one that kind of like orchestrated the whole thing to rid Soldier Boy and give Soldier Boy to the Russians, right? And then we also find out through the course of this stuff that what led Soldier Boy to accidentally, kill these people in episode 5. He's talking with Huey, and he tells Huey, I don't know what happened. It was an accident. I didn't mean to hurt those people. But later on, we find out it's music that he would hear when he would be tortured and worked on and prodded on that triggers something in him and sends those radiation levels up high, which then causes these explosions, right? So he's got that trauma, and even in that moment, like even though he's a total douche, I really felt like when he was talking to Huey, I was like, oh right, he really really truly feels bad because he killed these people. Like Soldier Boy has a bit of humanity in him and feel like he can be redeemed possibly. He really loved Countess. He talked about wanting to have children with her, and we know that in episode 5 he killed her. Welcome, I am the upgrade. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we hear a lot of that we hear that from him, right? And so Homelander is on his way to Herogasm. Huey is there. Once he gets there, he has a moment with A-Train, and I think A-Train really, really realized after talking with Ashley, when he was like, something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. And she tells him, oh, you want us to do something now after I've spent years of cleaning up the 3 murders that you caused. It only bothers you that now it's happened to you, right? Because we know that his brother is, possibly never going to be able to walk again. He's paralyzed. He's in the hospital. And then A-Train has that moment with Huey. Hi, Rhea. Welcome, welcome, welcome. He has that moment with Huey, and Huey was like, calls him out. He's like, you never said sorry. And A-Train says, right, I never did, and I'm sorry. And you feel like A-Train is really is realizing all the pain that he's caused, but Huey's not buying it, and Huey hits him, and A-Train says, how did you do that? So A-Train realizes in that moment that Huey has got his hands on some compound V. And he doesn't really know what's going on with that. We still have no confirmation. I'm pretty sure Maeve is not dead, right? Hi, PKAL. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm pretty sure he's not dead. Maeve is not dead just because we've not seen an on-screen death. There's no body. So more than likely she is alive. So Maeve is missing, right? And Starlight actually has a conversation with Newman, and Newman is kind of like, oh, I'll be on your side, you do this and play along, and let's go along, and we'll take Homelander down. And in that moment, this to me was once Starlight kind of started speaking up for herself and letting that go, she was like, no. So if you're going to blow my head up, do it, right? She says, if not, get the hell out of here. And we see Newman kind of like give her kind of like, a moment where she kind of threatens her. We get the bleeding on the nose from Starlight. And Starlight essentially is pretty much done. She's not going to go along anymore. She's not going to toe that line any longer. And we see that especially by the end of the episode, which to me, I was like, oh, I want more, right? But we'll get to that in a minute. Hi, Master Sword Music. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just ranting and raving really quickly about the boys and a lot of the beats in the show that I really, really liked. So that to me was awesome. To see her kind of like say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to be involved in this bullshit. I'm not going to cover for Homelander anymore. Like, it was just that moment. She didn't care. It wasn't about, if you're going to kill me, kill me. But I'm going to stand on my morals and my principles, regardless if I lose my life or not. And then at Herogasm, the Deep is there. And the Deep, he has his things with his nasty moment, right? And with the octopus, and Starlight catches him, and she records him, and she's like, oh, Homelander's gonna love this. And so she kind of like blackmails him. And then we get to the moment where Butcher, another great moment is when Butcher and Mother's Milk are there, right? And he looks and he's stopping him. He's like, I can't let you do this, right? And basically, he stops him, and to me, Mother's Milk is like the MVP. Him and Starlight both of this episode, and he looks at Butcher and he was like, "How's it fair for you, but it's not fair for me, right? You get to get Homelander, but I don't get to get Soldier Boy." And we also see, MM's failed attempt to take down Soldier Boy, and Butcher says, "Not him," right? And then from there, we see all of these things are starting to come apart. We see Huey use those powers again to remove Starlight from the home, and he's like, "All I want to do is save you, right? All I want to do is save you." And she was like, from the beginning, you never had a problem with that. He's like, "Well, I do a little." Right? And from there we see the music and the explosion happen, and so many people are hurt when the target was the twins, right? Who are just like the douchiest, whiny, entitled twins, and that are, it's like, just assholes, right? Complete and utter assholes. And Soldier Boy takes out 12 people, right, in that moment. And we find out that, and then Mother's Milk and Starlight goes to him and is like, "We've got to save these people's lives," right? We see Huey and Soldier Boy and Butcher. They leave, completing their mission and their goal. No, like, I'm sorry, they don't leave yet. Sorry, they end up fighting. Homelander comes, right? How could I forget that, guys? Homelander comes. There's this freaking epic fight, and when Homelander realizes Butcher, he says, "I thought it was gonna be me and you fighting to the death, right? This isn't fair," basically. And then Homelander realizes the Butcher is now up the ante. He's also taking Compound B. He has these superpowers as well, right? And so this epic fight between all three of them ensues, right? They've got him, dead to rights, essentially, in that final moment, and he's able to escape. So Homelander knows that he's got people out for him, and I can't wait to see how it ends. I'm pretty sure Soldier Boy possibly might, by the end of the season, be able to remove Homelander's powers. And even if it's just temporarily, I'm hoping that's where we're going to get to. But to me, the most epic moment was Starlight. At the end, when Mother's Milk asked her, basically, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And she was like, "Yeah, Homelander's gonna wish that he didn't make me, this great popular person, right, on social media," because she has like a 90% rating and popularity amongst fans, and she goes live in that video right in front of the bodies and covered in the white sheets, right? And she says there are 12 people, 12 humans and superheroes that have lost their lives, and I'm not crazy. Soldier Boy did this, right? Homelander is dangerous. I'm no longer Starlight. I'm Annie. And she says, "I fucking quit." And she puts it all out there for the world to see. So it's going to be interesting to see in the next episode, how do people start turning on Homelander, right? And what's going to happen? And I feel like I don't want anybody in the boys to die, but I think that at some point, someone there's got to be a sacrifice somewhere. And I don't know where that's going to be, who it'll be. And we don't know about A-Train. Oh, yeah, A-Train, right? We see him pass out after, kind of getting his own revenge, using his super speed, in that moment where he drags him, and we see him fall to the ground. I'm pretty sure he's not dead. Um, just because, you know, it wouldn't make any sense. I don't think that they would kill him in such a lackluster way. Possibly, maybe he can die down the road, but I honestly don't think he's dead. So it's good to see is A Train finally gonna make that turn, or is he still gonna be that douchey guy that's gonna continue to make the wrong decisions? Um, I don't think that he can anymore. I think that everyone has got to now realize that Homelander is is the enemy here. He's unhinged. We've got to take him down, because if not, everyone's safety is going to be at stake. Because what did he say? I would prefer to be loved, but if I'm hated, right, I will destroy the world. Like, he'll watch the world burn. So now we're at crunch time. He's got to be taken down, because if not, the fate of the world is at stake. Is at stake here. Yeah, Ray says, I don't think A Train is dead either. I don't think he is either. But I'm hoping that there's going to be a shift, especially after realizing and coming to terms with things that he's done. And now that it's happened to him, maybe he'll learn that lesson. As they've deviated from the comic, I'm predicting a major death in the finale. PKL, yeah, I think we gotta have that. Rhea says, I have a hate-love relationship with Soldier Boy. I'm disgusted with myself. Rhea, me too, especially in that moment where he really, really expresses regret for killing those innocent people. I feel like there's some, like, hint of goodness in him. And, like, Homelander has absolutely none. Like, he's void of all of it. So, with Soldier Boy, I feel for him a bit. Like, I feel like that maybe he's not all bad, even though he's done a lot of shitty things, right? I feel like there's something, there's still like that goodness that maybe he can be redeemed a bit and forgiven for the things that he's done. We'll see. I don't know. And you hear that music, and that music is a trigger and a trauma for him after being poked and prodded. And his expression when he realized that Countess didn't love him, which was very different than when Homelander realized Maeve didn't care for him and love him, because he just wants to be loved by everyone, right? I don't think that he has the ability to truly love someone. I think Soldier Boy, on the other hand, did love Countess, but he was just a douche, right? I think that Homelander is a sociopath. He's void of all emotions whatsoever. Like, he can't truly have a connection with anyone, right? He's a malignant narcissist as well. He's a narcissist, right? Welcome, Night. So, like, anybody have final thoughts, favorite scenes from the episode? I was gonna like write all this down and make a video, but I was like, let's do this really quickly. Sorry I didn't pull up any visuals either. I'm being lazy, guys. I was truly lazy here. But anything that you all want to point out, read some of your comments here before we wrap up quickly. Knight says he's Team Homelander. Well, hopefully it's just that you like Homelander because he's a badass, right? Not because you enjoy his his disgusting ways. Darius is a little disappointed Homelander didn't start Herogasm like comics, but oh boy, what an episode. Acting is so great in this series. They have a deep bench. Yeah. Darius, I did not read the boys comics, so I don't really know how with this particular IP, like how far it deviates from the story. I think that maybe I might go back once I finish the comic that I'm reading now and get through that. If I ever get to finish that with everything, I've not had a whole lot of time to finish that. Tony says maybe Soldier Boy is a good person, masking as a douchebag. But he's a murderous douchebag, Tony. I think that maybe Soldier Boy is learning from his mistakes. Kamikyo and Frenchie side story is touch exactly, Raya. Like, and the fact that she still feels like she's this monster to me, is heartbreaking. But to see her like without her powers, like kick major ass, but then it's very sad for her. And I love Frenchie, absolutely love Frenchie. Knight says Homelander is way better in the show. I know that in the comics that Black Noir is like a clone of him, but here in the show we know that that's different because we learned that from episode 3. And Soldier Boy realizing that Black Noir is the one who set him up. And we get that great moment where he's just shitty to Black Noir. So it makes sense, right? You know, and what in Black Noir having to wear that mask, you know, because he was a black man. I think that that's a really, really cool take on Black Noir. But now he's, you know, unable to speak because of that horrible, you know, shot that he takes, you know, blast that he takes in the head. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with Black Noir. I hope he doesn't die, because that was a really funny moment when we just see him like take off running. I was like, OMG, epicness, right? Knight says, Knight thinks Anthony Starr, the actor of Homelander, has boosted him up a lot. I know. And I'll never forget, like, in the first episode, because, like I said, I had no information about these characters going in. And, you know, you think, oh, you know, Homelander's the good one that doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, you know, in season 1, doesn't do anything bad. But he is the worst of them all, right? Absolutely the worst. And what's going to happen with Butcher and Huey, right? We are seeing them become slowly dependent and going through withdrawals, and the addiction element to this, you know, compound V that they're having, which is quite shocking. And, you know, and it brings up like, you know, drug addiction in it, you know, with it, you know, obviously with the spin, and like how does, you know, that start to affect their personality, and all of that. So I think that that's a really, really cool discussion also to have. Darius says this is a turning point in the comics is when Homelander unites the Supes and rules the world. Knight says the Deep can go. The Deep is weird, right? I think his wife really needs to go. But like I like, he's the least favorite, but I feel like he's like, you know, Homelander's lackey in a sense, and he has a lot of the most absurd, silly moments that I don't really want to lose some of those with him. So that's what I would say about the Deep. I don't know. I feel like one of the boys got to go. And I'm trying to figure out, obviously it won't be Huey. It won't be Butcher. Sadly, I don't want it to be, and I don't think it's going to be Mother's Milk. If it's anybody, it might be Frenchie. But I don't want that either. But somebody is got to go at some point. And I'm curious if it's going to happen this season. I mean, they take a lot of, do a lot of things here. So I think that if we get a major death this season, we'll really put it over the top, for me anyway. So, episode 7, we got, 2 episodes left. I'm excited to see what happens next. Knight says he makes me uncomfortable getting sucky from an... Yeah, it's so weird. And it's, funny because, you know, a lot of people had issues with the joke, you know, from Peacemaker, with Aquaman, and you really get it here with the Deep. They really, you know, that spoof on, you know, Aquaman with the Deep, and he really goes there. He's really fucking the fish. Oh. Tony says, Ash, what do you think Frenchie is afraid of? Be completely vulnerable with Kamikio? I don't know. I think that possibly. I think that he is scared that something will happen to her, truly. And Knight says, it's mother's milk. I'm starting a riot. I don't think it's gonna. If it's mother's milk, I will die. If Maeve dies, I mean, I feel like Maeve would make maybe the most sense at this point, just because she's already, captured. But she's just such a sad character. I feel like she. I don't think it's her time. It's like her arc is almost not complete because she's still in that deep state of sadness and regret and guilt. Like, I feel like she's got one of them has got to come out on the other end of that, and maybe it's A Train, because maybe A Train is learning from his mistakes, and maybe it'll be him that comes on the other end. I feel like if they continue to progress the story the way I feel like they might, it might be A Train eventually his time to go, just because maybe he's finally learning from his own mistakes, right? I think that if Maeve dies, it would just be so sad. And not to give her, unless she has a moment in the next two episodes where she completely, is at peace with things, then yes. Soldier Boy alluded to his past with Liberty, aka Stormfront. Yes, Rhea. Knight says they got to keep the black guy, right? Yeah, they got to. But which one? We got one with a mask on, Black Noir. We got A Train and Mother's Milk. I think that Mother's Milk, I think that he would be the one that would get me in the feels the most. So, and it's always the character that I love that goes. So maybe it's gonna be him. I hope not. But we shall see. We shall see. But other than that, I think I'm about to wrap it all up, guys. You know what? Oh, Knight, before we go, I will answer. He says, off topic, but have you seen Game of Thrones, Ashley? Knight, let's see. I've seen the very first episode and bits and pieces of it. It just wasn't for me. My JC and my brother loved that show, and I remember every Sunday my bro would come over and they would be watching it, and I used to be like, can we watch anything else? I would be like so mad. I did not like it. I did not like it at all. So Game of Thrones is not my thing. It's not. Rhea says Mother's Milk's jacket was ruined. I know, his poor jacket. Ruined. Ruined. Knight says blasphemy. It's not, I don't hate, like, it's just Game of Thrones is not my thing. It's not my thing. You know. Yeah, Rhea, it's my currently on air right now. It's my second favorite behind Better Call Saul. But Better Call Saul is on a little break. Can't wait for that to come out. I'm gonna tell you guys, watch Better Call Saul. Watch Ms. Marvel. That's a fun little show to watch. Watch The Boys. It is absolutely amazing. Knight says, I'm waiting for the Jon Snow show. is a really good actor. Tony, he really, really is. And, you know, we're going to get my movie. Hopefully, maybe later, I'll be able to make a video about the reviews for Thor Love and Thunder. Possibly. Hopefully, I'll be able to get that done. That is the plan, Stan. If not, it should be up tomorrow. I know I'm going to have a stream tomorrow, you know, with Dot and I, and, you know, talk about Obi-Wan and some cool things. So that's where we're at. Rhea says, Miss Marvel is very cute. I'm pleased with it. I'm very pleased with it, too. Episode 3 was great. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to see that. Obi-Wan, To me, it really finished off strong. I'll give you my thoughts about that later. Still had a few issues with the story, but I was overall happy with how it was completed. Cried 3 times, Obi-Wan and Leia, Obi-Wan and Vader, and Anakin, when Anakin tells him, you didn't kill Anakin, I did. That moment right there was got me in the feels. And then when he met Luke, I thought that was great. And hello there, right? And then so those moments for me were awesome. Yeah, Knight, you're not watching Marvel trash, but I'm gonna hypnotize you and make you watch it. But other than that, guys, I'm about to be up out of here. You all have a wonderful, wonderful time. I'll see you all next time, and hopefully everyone is happy and healthy. And remember, shit can pop off, right? Shit can go wild and shit can go crazy. But a year later, here we are, learning from bullshit, right? Till next time, I'm your girl Ashley, aka The Widow. Bye.